What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we have Market Watch for you. I'm excited to talk about Market Watch today because there's a lot of good cards on the hype right now that people are picking up because they kind of have a feeling that it's not going to get hit for the restriction list. But there's also new card reveals, new decks keep popping in and out of the format where people are now like, this is crazy, why aren't we playing this? So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it.
So guys, if you want to help support the channel with no extra cost, please use the affiliate link down below. It costs you nothing to support the channel, and it's just a great way of doing it while you're checking out cards that you are always ready going to be paying for. So without further ado, let's get into it.
As you guys know, I like talking about what's going on in the meta. So first off, card reveals are affecting this one here. So Darkness Bagra is getting some hype, and again, a very powerful card. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon, then you may place up to 5 Digimon with Bagra army traits from your trash as his bottom Digi-evolution. So, and then opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon digivolves or attacks by trashing 5 cards into the Digi-evolution, return all tamers to the owner's hand. Being able to reset your opponent's tamer board is ridiculous, but with the new Bagra support in general, there's a lot of good things going on for the deck. So just something to think about. Darkness Bagra will be probably seeing some sort of play. Belphemon. We had some indication where we had a regional a couple of years ago, not even lying. Bagra did something. You know, it's a definitely rewarding deck if you know how to play the deck and time everything correctly. If you can do that, this deck can really throw people off, because again, it's one of those rogue strategies that if played right, you know, boom, you can really surprise the opponent to the point where they just don't know what's going on. So just something to think about, especially with Darkness Bagra. Now let's take a look here. We have none other than Europe side looking like €7 as well. So I kind of recommend picking up maybe 2 copies of this just in case Bagra does something in the format. I just think anything Bagra army related, there's not a lot of on play ones, so there's only going to be a couple that you might want to pick up for, you know, Bagra army related, and then just be ready for those to climb up. So I'll probably do a little bit more dive in next Market Watch of cards that you might want for that, so just keep that in mind. Lilithmon X antibody. With the new Lilithmon, it kind of makes some new combos that just even we weren't really thinking Bagra support with it, but I'm thinking just in generalization, right? The ability to target a tamer and then basically any protection 1 stack they have on board will get destroyed. And that's the funny part, because now the tamer has the ability, and because of the way it's worded, it makes it now that the end of turn. So if Magna X is on board, no, your Davis that you've been using for benefit, well, congratulations, you just killed your own Digimon. So stuff like that is going to create some change up. I think even though it's not a 7 Great Demon Lords, but the Lilithmon deck might have gotten the support that we weren't expecting. Just being able to combo it in with Lilithmon X in general, you know, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than battle, if Lilith X or his Digivolution by deleting one other Digimon, prevent it leaving. All turns when another Digimon is deleted, if it is your turn, you may play a purple level 4 or lower card from your trash without paying its cost. I mean, you can combo it in the Lilithmon deck. I think this comes down to 2, and then you just play a closer like 3-3 split of old and new. And boom, I think you have a great deck going for you. Yes, that the Bagra Lilithmon doesn't actually play towards the strength of 7 Great Demon Lords, but it does play strong into the Lilithmon deck. So just be something to think about and be cautious about here. Now, Europe side looking like 16 to 22 euros. Matt Ishida is showing some hype up climb. Again, a lot of the Garurumon stuff is on an upwards climb. So taking a look, it is $26 going up, 9 to 12 euros. Lord Knightmon Ace still cooling off. We still have in the $7 range. I'm still waiting to see what they do with the deck. Surprised there was no real support I don't know what they're doing in general. I think they're just, we're gonna do red black this time, purple black, black, purple. They don't know what they're doing with Lord Knightmon, and it frustrates me, but eventually something's gonna give and we're gonna get something good. I definitely expect some sort of combination of a Bagra army slash Dark Knightmon combination, and if some way, shape, or form it gives rush in any capacity, I expect Lord Knightmon to pop off. So just be on your best behavior here. Europe side, 70 euros to 100 euros. Commandramon alts, Blast Ace BT14s are at $10. We are really overdue on Commandramon support, to be honest with you, or even Digipolice. So this is something you just snag up the pieces now and just be ready to max rarity flex, right? Because I'm being straight honest with you, anything could happen to make that deck pop off. Europe side, 14 to 18 euros. Ultimate Chaosmon is at $5.75. There are some players starting to adapt and try to think of ways to make this work in a deck, so just be cautious. There is things with Ultimate Chaosmon, even some people have tested it with, you know, Galaxy Engine, and the reason for that is because at the end of the day, if DNA, you may place, you know, up to 2 level 6 from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution, and then for each level 6 in this Digivolution, return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. A deck that is hyper focused on level 6s getting in their stack, this card is just wanting to do that. So you could get a couple dozen 6s in your stack very comfortably. And then, you know, while you have 4 more level 6s, this Digimon gets security attack +3 and piercing. So yeah, that's just something to think about. Europe side looking like 3 to 4 euros. Imperialdramon Fighter Mode. This is a deck that you should probably keep an eye out on. Because of its draining player base on the deck, I don't expect this to get hit. But again, the meta is going to shift, and once restriction hits, this card is probably going up. So just be ready for that. Europe side, 11 to 16 euros. Seadramon, $20 going down. Good to see this card going down. And again, promos are going to start coming down when decks aren't really in the meta anymore. And from being like a $30 card to finally being under 20 bucks, again, it's maybe a 1 to 2 of in your list anyway, if you were playing it, if you really wanted it. So just be happy this thing has come down to a reasonable price, and I'm very happy to see that. Europe side, 9 to 30 euros. Growl X Antibody. This is just because everybody is on this card is getting restricted to 1 mentality. Be ready on like 4:30 in the morning to have these in your cart, because if this is not on the restriction list, whoop, climb right back up. Do not expect this thing not to be expensive if it's not on the restriction list. So people are just selling them off now because they don't want to be part of a dead deck. And I'm just forewarning you guys. 9 to 13 euros. Lord Knightmon X Antibody. Another deck that still does extremely well into the format is Lord Knightmon with Levia. And yeah, this is just how that goes. Europe side, 15 to 20 euros. Dominionmon EX06 is 9 to 10 bucks. To be honest with you, Dominion was doing well before we got the ridiculousness we've gotten. Do I expect Dominion to start popping back up again? I do. They're not going to hit Dominionmon in any capacity, but this card is one of those rogue strategies that does extremely well when the format isn't as toxic as it is. Omnimon is just way too strong for this deck, and it just has too many ways of answering Dominion. So the Royal Knight deck really punishes it. Omnimon kind of punishes it. You know, it doesn't have a bad matchup into Megidra, but again, there's just some matchups Dominion just struggles a little bit into right now in the tier 1s, and Sakuya is one of those as well. If they hit Sakuya, Royal Knights in any capacity, and then they hit Megidra, the only deck it really fears is Alter S shenanigans. And to be straight honest with you, Dominion will come back into the fray, and I expect it to do extremely well. Europe side looking like 6 to 10 euros. Gabu X is shooting up, guys. This thing's already going to almost 50 bucks again. Wow. Europe side 9 to 11 euros. Analog Man holding strong in this $6 to $7 range. Europe side looking like 5 to 8 euros. Nene Amanos are $14. Right now we got, about 19s, 20s, up to 30s. Crossheart is playing this card, but also we don't know what Dark Knightmon is going to get for pieces in EX10. Europe side 12 to 16 euros. Chaosmon Volder Arm holding strong at $5. Going down though, I expect this to come down more and more because again, if Sukuyamon gets hit, people aren't holding on to cards right now. Just because of that, you have to really be cautious. And again, people are just moving pieces that they're not going. When a deck has a target on its back, people don't keep pieces. 6 to 7 euros. Belphemon Rage Mode. Belpha is getting that love. Already ridiculously high on the alts. We're at 25 to 30s. And that's no surprise when you got really good support coming. And does that mean the deck's going to be playable? I don't know how well it's going to be into the meta. If the meta slows down and Rage Mode can breathe again, I expect it to pop in with the new support. I think it can be a tier 2, maybe a tier 1 deck, depending on piloting and everything like that. So we'll have to see, because again, if this deck can come back in, it will be a scary threat because again, nullifying attacks, being able to suspend things, removing threats and everything like that, just really scary. Europe side 23 to 30 euros. MetalGreymon SP shot up, guys. Someone bought these all out. This thing was at $100. Someone paid 150. Europe side 90 to 100 euros. Rapidmon X. This deck has fallen off hard. Another wave of support would be really nice for this deck and just doesn't need a lot. It just needs one more Rapid Champion Golden Rapid, and this deck just probably comes back into the fray, right? But the meta is really fast paced for this mid-rangey deck. So if they make it a little more mid-rangey, the fact that it is minus 4,000 DP to all opponents suspended Digimon isn't enough right now. I think that's one of the challenges this deck faces. Europe side 15 to 18 euros. Pyramidi is starting to see some climb, guys. Once that level 7 gets shown off, guys, this thing's gone. Don't expect this to be cheap. Europe side 6 to 10 euros. Cinderilmon finally coming down, guys. People moved over to the cat. That's just what happens. But don't be surprised if there's another, when we get closer to January and we get another wave of support, if Cinderil comes back into the fray. We do get closer to the product release, but again, this is probably the time you move your Cinderils. 13 to 15 euros. Rust Tyranno shooting up, guys. Dinomon hype. I'm guessing this is what it is. This card is pretty good. Is a definitely solid rogue contender. It did have some random tops with Dinomon, with Rust Tyranno, so again, it can make some reappearances, so I don't know if we're going to see that long term. 1 to 5 euros. Lucemon alts are at $30 and climbing. This is something I warned you about. I really was hoping you guys jumped on this as soon as possible because I told you there was a tamer coming, but this new wave of support has just been really good for the deck. Europe side 17 to 20 euros. SkullKnightmon, this was another card I kind of warned you guys back just because of Dark Knightmon, but because of Bagra Army now, there is competitive viability. SkullKnightmon was played at 3 in that list, and this card is not going anywhere. I think this is going to stay long-term wise. Europe side 25 to 30 euros. Grace Novas are up to $50 a piece. Man, oh man, I was glad I picked it up for 25. Europe side 28 to 40 euros. Now Tweetmons are up to $5. Again, part of the deck, it needs tweet, so yeah. Europe side 50 cents to 1 euro. Gallantmon X antibodies are 33s and going down. Again, a lot of players are expecting something they may hit. Gallantmon kind of getting the same treatment. If, you know, Growl X gets hit, that deck falls a little bit down, right? Because again, it relies on that recyclability with the Growl X. Europe side, 25 to 30 euros. Matt and Ty, Ty Kamiya and Matt Ishida alts from EX09 up to $30 a piece. God, I should not have sold that for $8. Europe side looking like 6 to 8 euros. Diaboros have climbed up to $40 a piece, and the reason for this is just simple enough. It's not getting hit. It's already showing some top demonstration and restriction. The tier 1 decks it struggles with are the decks that really put this deck in perspective. They disappear, Diaboromon comes in swinging. I'm being straight honest with you. Diaboromon is a strong deck, and even I play tested it, and I'm enjoying the flows and everything about the deck. There are some still general weaknesses I don't like about it, but deck it relies so much of the errata. But I'm excited. Europe side, 14 to 20 euros. Lilithmon Chaos modes up to $35. I warned you guys on this thing. Pick them up at the 22 marks. I hope you did. I really hope you guys did. I was like, I warned you guys personally. I don't like you guys losing out on building a deck for far cheaper than paying these astronomical prices. This card's going to go up to 40 to 45s very comfortably, and then you missed out. And I really hate for you guys to do that. 18 to 23 euros. Omnimon Ace BT17s, 18s to 20s, 10s to 15 euros. Vidramon is up to 68s. Shown some just finally cooled off from that $82 mark, which is good. We're still in the ridiculous I'm $70 for no reason category, but it is an option. Europe side looking like 50s to 60 euros. Kyokos are $13 and going down. Europe side 10s to 14 euros. Sios 8s to 9s going down. I'm gonna be straight honest with you. This was just commonplace. 9s to 10 euros. I was expecting them to be like tie numbers, but yeah, Sios not in multiple decks like Ty was, and you know, Galaxy relies around 2, and then you have, you know, CS that needs another wave of support, so just be ready for that. Unmount Alter S still holding strong into the $30 range. God, this thing is expensive. I'm glad I picked mine up at $40 for 4, but that was just lucky. Taking a look at it, $19 to $23. Taking a look, MetalGreymon starting to show up in for Classic Collection. Be ready for this card, especially because if you have 8 or more cards in your hand and a Tamer in play, return one of your opponent's Digimon with an on-deletion effect to the bottom of its owner's deck. Trash all Digivolutions of that Digimon. Again, very commonplace this happens. There's now so many decks that have on-deletion. This card answers so much. I'm not joking. But, you know, and also being able to restate your, you know, evolution costs. This card is pretty nutty. Europe side looking like 20 cents to 40 cents. And I also know there's like this Omnimon deck that plays this. Taking a look, MetalGreymon alts are $38.50 going up to 40s. If you guys have it, flip it. This is the time is now. This card's been $8 for so long. I think I have 2 of these sitting in my old school deck. And I'm going to sell these because personally, I don't see any reason to hold on to them. Europe side, 11 to 25 euros. Then you have Yoko is at $10 going up. So just be expecting these to be a little more pricier than not. 6 to 7 euros. But all in all, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the market watch. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy. Don't catch you next one. Peace.